Welcome back, guys, to the channel. I am Jake Ellenbogen, and today I'm very excited because I am bringing you guys the Rams and Bears preview. That's right, we are finally here. The season is starting. I'm not going to waste any time, but be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It does help out the algorithm, and it helps out my channel as far as growth and all of that. So let's dive into it. This is a team, the Bears, that have played the Rams 3 times since Sean McVay took over as the Rams head coach. They are 2-1 under Sean McVay against the Bears. Last loss was at Soldier Field in 2018. They won 16-5 in just a really bizarre game. Jared Goff was not playing his best football, but neither was Mitchell Trubisky. They came away with Trubisky, an injured shoulder. Probably shouldn't have even played that game. They came away with a win in that one. But the Rams have won the last 2 matchups that they've had. Of course, this is the same team. Had Vic Fangio, who of course had Brandon Staley. So there is some familiarity here with the Bears, that route for their defense that they're now running. So that's a very interesting concept to think about. But further here, I want to make a point to add, the Bears have 6 former Rams. Cairo Santos, they have Nasimba Webster, who they just added. He's going to be their starting punt returner, potentially kick returner as well. Robert Quinn. They have ALEC Ogletree. They have Nick Foles. To wrap that up, they actually have Marquis Christian. So it's pretty crazy, actually, that they have 6 former Rams on their roster, their 53-man roster. Andy Dalton is going to get the nod. Whether I disagree with it or not does not matter. Matt Nagy is going with Andy Dalton. So we will see Andy Dalton. And potentially we'll see Justin Fields, who we probably should see. But Andy Dalton is going to get the nod for the Bears. You're also going to see David Montgomery at running back. You're going to see the receivers, Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson, mixing in, of course, Marquise Goodwin in the slot, as well as Damiere Byrd. And potentially we could see some Brashad Perriman, the recent signing after he was released by the Lions. Offensive line, we're going to see Jason Peters, Cody Whitehair, Sam Mustipher, James Daniels, and Jermaine Ifedi. At tight end, you're going to see Cole Kmet, but probably also going to see some Jimmy Graham. On the defensive line, you can expect to see Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman at nose tackle, and Bilal Nichols on the defensive line. They were on base 3-4, so the outside linebackers are going to be Khalil Mack and former Ram Robert Quinn, respectively. At the inside linebacker spot, Roquan Smith and ALEC Ogletree, former Rams linebacker, is going to be playing there as well. He had a really good camp from everybody that was reporting from the Bears, and here he is starting. So congratulations to him. You'll also be seeing KINDLE VILDOR, a former 5th-round pick in 2020, as well as 2nd-round pick in 2020, Jalen Johnson. On top of that, you're going to see Duke Shelley, who is the slot corner there. Going to be very interesting to see how well he can do, because the Rams are likely going to be having a lot of usage in the slot with guys like Van Jefferson, DeSean Jackson, etc. And then you're going to have Eddie Jackson at safeties, given the Rams fits as well as many teams fits since he came in the league in 2017 at Alabama. And Tayshaun Gibson rounds that out. So that's your lineup for the offense and defense. The Rams, of course, are going to go, you guys pretty much know the lineup, but I'll name it anyway. You have at quarterback, Matthew Stafford; running back, Darrell Henderson, although you can expect to probably see Sony Michel; at wide receiver, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods; expecting to see DeSean Jackson and Van Jefferson in the slot, or just really alternating all of them, but you're going to see them respectively. Then Andrew Whitworth, David Edwards, center Brian Allen, who is making his debut for the first time since 2019 when he suffered an injury. He missed all of 2020 with injury and COVID. Austin Corbett at right guard and Rob Havenstein at right tackle. And then, of course, the tight end position, Tyler Higbee and Johnny Munt, you can expect to see a lot of. Potentially Jacob Harris, we will see. But then the defensive line, you have Aaron Donald, you have Sebastian Joseph Day playing the nose, you have Ashawn Robinson, who is expected to play after he did have a procedure. It was unlikely he was going to play initially, but he's made some good progress and looks like he's going to play. On the outside, the linebackers, you have Leonard Floyd and you have Justin Hollins. The inside linebackers, you have Troy Reeder and Kenny Young. At corner, Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams. And we're going to see 3 safeties in some capacity. In nickel, you'll probably see nickel corner going to end up being TERRELL BURGESS. And the other safeties, you're going to see Taylor Rapp and Jordan Fuller. And that rounds out those lineups. Key matchups. Let's highlight them. Okay, first off, the first one, if the key matchup isn't Aaron Donald versus the interior offensive line, I don't know what to tell you, and you're probably wrong. Because I can tell you right now, Aaron Donald is going to dictate this game early on. Aaron Donald has sacked Andy Dalton just once in his career, going back to 2019 when the Rams played the Bengals in London. He's only sacked him once, but then again, he doesn't see him much because he was in the AFC the majority of his career, so there's also that. So Aaron Donald sacked Andy Dalton before, could probably sack him a lot more than once if he gets a handle on a young interior offensive line. Cody Whitehair, of course, pretty young in this league, 16 draft. James Daniels from the 18 draft, and then 2019 UDFA, Sam Mustipher out of Notre Dame. He's going to be starting at center. He started a few games last season, but he is somewhat unproven, and the fans are really iffy on him starting at center, so we will see. He's going to have a tough test against Aaron Donald. And I think, in that key matchup, that's something that just absolutely will be highlighted on TV. I don't have to tell you that. The Rams receivers against the Bears corners, easier said than done, right? You're 4 deep, even 5 deep if you want to include Tutu Atwell. But the fact of the matter is this, the Rams receivers, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, lead the league respectively in yards after the catch. Going back the last 2 years, the only guy that's even close is Devontae Adams of the Green Bay Packers. Probably the best receiver in football. So that tells you a lot there. KINDLE VILDOR, he's getting his opportunity to start. He is being thrown into the fire here, a 5th-round pick in 2020. He is going to have to really make an impact, and he's going to have to keep these guys intact. On top of that, Jalen Johnson, physical corner, but you're going to have to play these guys a little differently. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, you try to get physical with them, they can slip out and really make you pay. Of course, Kupp, we know that with his route running ability. Then you have DeSean Jackson, Van Jefferson to worry about, and that's where you're going to see Duke Shelley really tested early on. The question is, can they withstand that? And then, of course, the last key matchup here is Jalen Ramsey versus Allen Robinson. How much of that is going to be dictated on him following Allen Robinson? What's going to happen? Jalen Ramsey has kind of been talked about as the guy that could be playing a Where's Waldo type of role in this defense where he is anywhere and everywhere. So we don't know for sure what what the game plan will be, but if he goes up against Allen Robinson is one of the most dangerous receivers in football. Contested catches, he's got vice grip hands. He's one of the best receivers. After, at least 20 yards downfield, I don't believe he's dropped a pass over the last 2 years or what have you. So this is somebody that's definitely been reliable. He's going to give Andy Dalton a security blanket there. And, of course, you have the Darnell Mooney memes going on around Twitter about him getting the best of Jalen Ramsey. Can't expect to see that too much, but he's also there as well. 5 players to watch from this game. I'll start off with the Bears. First and foremost, Duke Shelley. We talked about him, slot corner. He's going to have his hands full. Whether the Rams put Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Robert Woods, DeSean Jackson, Tutu Atwell in the slot, this guy is going to get worked early on. Stafford will throw it all over the field. But if you're going to give him an opportunity against a guy like Duke Shelley, he will pick on him. So that is something to keep in mind. He is going to be getting worked this weekend, and we'll see if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Iron sharpens iron, so this could make Duke Shelley better as the season goes on, but he is considered somewhat the weak link, as well as KINDLE VILDOR on the outside, not a ton of experience. The next guy is Sam Mustipher, inexperienced center. We'll get to see him against Aaron Donald. We'll get to see him against Sebastian Joseph Day. It's not going to be easy day at the office for Sam Mustipher, who did surprise and win that center job, but we will see with that. In addition to that, KINDLE VILDOR, I already mentioned him, Senior Bowl edition, 2020 guy. I'm happy for him. I met him at the Senior Bowl. But the fact is, he's going to have to play up against guys like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. It's not going to be easy, and so he is definitely a player to watch for, as well as ALEC OGLETREE. Very interesting story with him. Of course, the Rams drafted him in the 1st round a few years ago. not few, like a lot, a while ago. He made it to the Sean McVay era. They did sign him. He was actually the first order of business. They brought him back on a contract extension, and then they shortly after traded him to the Giants in a really weird, bizarre turn of events. So now he finds himself here with the Bears, scratching and clawing his way onto a roster. But furthermore, he did so well in training camp and the joint practices, he carved out a starting role. So that's a really interesting development for him. He is going to be a player to watch for sure. Rams fans know him very well. And then Cole Kmet. This guy got a bigger, I think it was like a 40, 50-yard catch last year against the Rams, on prime time. We'll see what he does this year. He has carved out a role as the starter over Jimmy Graham. And, in his own right, this is, a guy that was considered the best tight end from his class by a lot of people. He's a second-round pick in 2020, and this is his year. Second-year tight ends are scary. First-year tight ends, not so much. We will see how Cole Kmet does against this Rams defense. But 5 players to watch on the Rams side, and I don't want to make them obvious, and that's why I never say quarterbacks. TERRELL BURGESS will start off. First off, this guy broke his ankle the last time he played against the Bears. That was last season. Has to be some sort of deja vu here that TERRELL BURGESS is feeling going up against the same team he got hurt up against and was out for the rest of the year against last season. So he's going to get that opportunity, slot corner, playing some safety. We will see how the Rams want to use him, but I do think he's going to have a big-time game in this one, and I think he's going to set the tone the rest of the year. Moving on, I have Brian Allen as the center. I know some people were already like, why was he not a key matchup to watch out for him versus, Eddie Goldman and all those guys? And I said, pretty much I'll just cover it here. Probably could have put him in the key matchups, but either way, we'll cover him here. Look, this guy does not have a lot of experience. He had the 2019 season that totally went south and ended up getting himself hurt. Ended up getting pushed into Note Boom, got him hurt. So he's back. This coaching staff, we don't know for sure if it's coach speak or it's legit, but we have been hearing that he's had a great camp. He's bigger. He's noticeably more confident, and he's ready for the task. So we will see. He's going to get tested early on with these defensive linemen, especially Eddie Goldman, who's one of the better nose tackles in football. And then, of course, Justin Hollins. Look, last year, this is somebody that was signed right before the first week of the season. This is somebody that was claimed at the hand of Brandon Staley, kind of going out there and asking to go get him. Brandon Staley worked with him in Denver. Hollins didn't make the team. However, another team's trash becomes another team's treasure, and here we are a year later, and he is starting for the Rams at outside linebacker. The thing I like about this is last year there was a lot of uncertainty. He was used at inside, he was used at outside, and was trying to carve out a role and did a nice job throughout the season of doing so. But this year, he knows his role. He's been working on his role. He was sat all of preseason because the Rams truly do value his talent, and his athleticism is obviously unmatched. So, Justin Hollins is a player to watch, in my opinion, on the outside, coming into week 1, had already been prepared as the starter. Things could be really good for him, and he could set the tone for the rest of the season if he comes out strong. And then the fourth player here, I'm going to say Kenny Young. Kenny Young was not the starting linebacker I had in mind, and he was not the starting linebacker that the Rams had in mind last year. But Young has done a nice job of pushing the envelope. He knocked Micah Kiser right off this roster, a guy that the Rams spent draft capital on. For a guy that was basically thrown in a deal for Marcus Peters, he has really carved out a role, and it is going to be interesting to see how much he's used and how much he can, basically produce. We saw it against the Patriots last year in prime time. This is somebody that they definitely trust, and so he's going to be a guy that I'm watching. And then lastly here, DeSean Jackson. I mean, we've been hearing all offseason, DeSean Jackson getting behind every defense, every which way. Can he do it this time? And do the Rams not just go for the big play right off the bat to start the season, kick off the season the right way with a bomb to DeSean Jackson? Will the Bears allow that? I don't know, but I would sure love that, and I sure can see it. He's a player to watch, number 1. Now we move into the prediction part of this preview. Matthew Stafford is going to throw for over 320 yards and 3 touchdowns. You heard it here first. Maybe not the boldest prediction. This is somebody that throws a lot of 400-yard games in his career. He has almost the actual record for most 400-yard games in a career But either way, it's still 320 and 3 touchdowns. You'll take it. So Matthew Stafford, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that's my first prediction. Second, Darrell Henderson's going to go over 100 total yards. I understand many people are doubting him. I understand why they're doubting him, but the injury history does not scare me. And this is somebody that was drafted and traded up for it in the 3rd round in the 2019 draft. You can't just throw him away like he's trash. This is somebody that can play in this league. This is somebody that can play at a high level. I trust what Anthony Jones Jr. has done, pumping out running backs like it's a damn factory over in Memphis. And so I'm going to continue to roll with the hot hand in Darrell Henderson. He goes over 100 yards. And then Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and Justin Hollins will combine for 6 sacks or more in this game. I understand that's a lot, but Andy Dalton does not have much mobility in the pocket, and I think this is a game that could get very ugly. If Justin Hollins comes out firing on all cylinders, you have A'Shawn Robinson, Aaron Donald, Sebastian Joseph-Day, in the trenches, and then you have Leonard Floyd, who obviously he loves playing against the former team that wouldn't re-sign him. He had 2 sacks the last time they played. That's going to say a lot, and I think it'll really set the tone early on, and I expect them to do that. 6 sacks between the 3 of those guys. And then TERRELL Burgess brings in an interception. This may be ridiculous, and I understand some of these are shot in the dark. Some of these are, complete dart throws. But here's the thing. I think Burgess is going to absolutely ball out. This is his first game back from the injury. I'm not talking preseason. He's back. He is going to play in this game. He had a great camp from what all the reports were saying, and he's back in the environment he initially got hurt last season against the same team. I feel like that's going to get him fired up, and for no other reason than that, I have him taking in a pick there. And lastly, I have the Rams winning 38-10. May seem ridiculous, may be wrong. I don't really care. You're starting Andy Dalton. The best thing I can say, and I've been on like 6 Bears podcasts this week, every single time I've said, Andy Dalton's not beating the Rams. We don't know if Justin Fields is. And that's the thing. We know Andy Dalton's not beating the Rams. We don't know what Justin Fields would do. So by not playing Justin Fields, to me, it gives... I think it gave this game, it was pretty obvious. I think the Rams are just a lot better than the Bears. I look at the Bears as a 6-7 win team, whereas the Rams, I'm looking at 15 wins on the season, Super Bowl, all of that. So I didn't really see it being that close, but not playing Justin Fields really doesn't make it that close because you don't even have a fail-safe option. It's not like Andy Dalton can trot, 20 yards down the field if the pocket breaks. If the pocket breaks, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get hit a lot. And so I think with this team, as long as they don't knock him out of the game, Andy Dalton plays the full game, this is going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly fast. And I do expect Sean McVay to just, completely let it rip with the football. This is somebody that had Jared Goff throwing a ton, and Jared Goff wasn't even throwing deep down the field. Now you have Stafford all over the field. We're going to start to see on 3rd and long that they're just going for it. And I don't think you'll see as many bubble screens as before. I don't think you'll see many of those delays and the handoffs, the draws, and things like that to get into field goal range, get better field position for the punting. I don't see that. I think they're going to go for it every single time, try to make things happen because they have a quarterback that is surgical and can do that. And so that's why I think this game gets really ugly. I think the Rams are going to convert some crazy 3rd downs that you're going to look at, and last year you're going to think there's no way they would have converted that. Furthermore, I got some fun facts for you, all right? With 1 interception this Sunday, the Rams would make it 4 games out of the last 5 openers under Sean McVay in which the defensive unit had picked off the opposing quarterback. The only quarterback that has not thrown an interception in the opener against the Rams was Dak Prescott last year. Another one here, Matthew Stafford. 20 games against the Bears in his career. He's thrown 32 touchdowns and 5,440 yards. Not bad. He has a lot of success against this team, so we will see if that translates and maybe is even better with the Rams. Only 2 coaches, Andy Reid and John Harbaugh, have a better active win streak in week 1 than Sean McVay does going back to 2017. Sean McVay has, of course, gone 4-0. He's looking for 5-0 this Sunday. And the last one here, and I find this very interesting. Obviously, it's a little bit overblown because the Rams didn't beat the Cowboys by much at all last season. But this is, of course, padded because of the 2017 game against the Colts when they won 44-6. Sean McVay's Rams have outscored opponents 129-66 in Week 1 matchups. Kind of goes to show you, though, you take away the Colts game, it's not as much, but this is definitely somebody that has had a lot of success in opening day. I think he's always ready for the preparation there. They got tested a little bit against the Raiders a few years back, but I was not surprised to see them pull it out. Just like I wasn't surprised to see them. They got tested against Dallas, but they were still able to pull it out. So once again, the Rams, Bears, this Sunday Night Football, and I'll be doing pregame and postgame live streams, and we're going to have some fun. So if you guys enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like. Be sure to share this. I'm going to say start sharing it. It really helps word of mouth. You guys have been great with it. Let's keep it up. And that's going to do it for me. Until next time, I'm Jake Ellenbogen. You guys take care and go Rams.